Hello, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well tonight. Good to see everybody. We're running a little behind tonight because, family things and such. So y'all give me just a second here and we are going to get rolling. So I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Just got back from a few days away, which was awesome. It was very refreshing in a number of ways. So we're really going to be answering a couple of questions tonight, and I'm kind of typing these in as we speak so I can throw these up on the screen. Two great topics to chat about. So give me just a second. This is the fun pre-show stuff. So for those of you, well, you won't hear this if you only listen to it on podcast because I'll cut all this stuff out. But anyway, so there's that. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So tonight's topic is one that I covered. I don't know, about a couple of years ago or so. And it's one that I think is very relevant, especially today with a lot of the conversations that we're having on park hopping and kind of sort of efficiency and schedules and, fast passes versus no fast passes or whatever Disney's going to come up with and those kinds of things. So I'm really excited to discuss this again, and I hope what we talk about tonight will be helpful to you. So please let me know if it is. Would love to know that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this up there for the folks that are on early before we jump into our conversation. What is your favorite Disney character quote? So we already have lots of answers on the main feed, which I'm pulling up here on my news feed where I dropped that in here just a little bit ago. So would love to hear from y'all. Hey, David. Good to see you, sir. I hope you had an awesome trip to Mexico. Still a little bit jealous about that, but maybe one day. So yeah, a lot of folks are answering this. Oh, that's really good. So some good stuff in there. So we'll share some of those here in just a little bit. So go ahead and be thinking about that. Drop your favorite Disney character quote in the comments, and I will show that up on screen here in just a little bit, and we'll kind of talk back and forth because there's some really cool stuff that I think we could share with each other, and maybe some surprises. I don't know, maybe some lesser-known quotes from some Disney movies. And when I say Disney, I mean like Disney classic stuff, Pixar, Star Wars, whatever. If Disney owns the IP, and they did it, or they didn't do it. Regardless, if they own it, we'll say it's Disney for the sake of argument on this one. So, anyway, all right. So let me check comments real quickly. There he is, David. Hey, my friend. Good to see you, sir. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Tonight. This is Travel Tips Tuesday, and it is June the 22nd, 2021. And our question of the day is, what is your favorite Disney character quote? Again, what is your favorite Disney character quote? So we mentioned this in pre-show just a few moments ago, but if it's Disney, classic Disney, Star Wars, modern Disney, animated, computer animated, whatever, Pixar, anything that Disney has produced or distributed, we will count that for the sake of argument. So what is your favorite Disney character quote? Would love to hear from you. If it's a Mickey quote, if it's something Woody said from Toy Story or from Moana or like Lilo and Stitch, like I saw somebody say earlier, would love for you to drop that in there. Our topic though tonight is a little bit different. So this is our question of the day. Would love to hear from you about that. But our topic is also a question, not to confuse you, but it might be a little bit, I don't know. Our topic is actually this: which Disney park, that says car, I don't know why. So we're going to fix that. That just makes no sense whatsoever. Probably something with autocorrect. Because I'm not going to edit this out just because this show is not perfect. So, which Disney park can you do in half a day? Which Disney park can you do in half a day? So we'll put that back up there. There we go. That looks better. Which Disney park can you do in half a day? So we'll get this right one of these days. Super professional stuff here, folks. You're getting your money's worth. Which Disney park can you do in half a day? It's a question that comes up a lot in different conversations about planning. So I did an episode about 2 years ago on is there such a thing as a half day at a Disney park? Like, is there a half park day? Like, is that a thing? Like, because some people say, well, so and so parks is only a half a day because, and they'll just give me some reasons, or this park is half a day because whatever, and it's usually different reasons, and we're going to get into some of that. So when you're park planning, there are questions that you got to ask yourself to figure out, okay, with my family, am I going solo, group, large, small, what's your point? What's your goal? What time of day are you getting there? Those sorts of things. So lots of different things you got to consider when you're thinking about a Disney park that you could do in half a day. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before we do that, I want to mention some Disney news. We had a lot of Disney news that was dropped today. And I'm just going to kind of read some of this verbatim from Disney Parks because they sum that up a lot better than I could. And I may give you some kind of ad-lib comments here and there. Last week, we found out that a lot of the nighttime spectaculars were coming back. Epcot Forever, that show will be premiering this summer again, coming back, and also Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom will be coming back as well, the nighttime fireworks spectacular there. So, those things are coming back, they're happening, but today Disney dropped some wonderful little nuggets having to do with their 50th anniversary celebration, which I'm very excited about. They're kind of slowly sort of releasing everything. So we're not like just releasing everything at once, but they're slowly kind of releasing things so we can, understand what all is going to be happening come October 1. The two things actually, that I'll mention are 2 new nighttime spectaculars are coming. So this is awesome. So, there's a new nighttime spectacular called Disney Enchantment that will help kick off the 50th anniversary festivities when it debuts October the 1st at Magic Kingdom Park. Created to launch with the world's most magical celebration, which is the official name for kind of the 50th anniversary at Walt Disney World, that 18-month-long celebration. This evening extravaganza will take you on a journey filled with adventure, wonder, and empowerment, inspiring everyone to believe in magic. Disney Enchantment will feature music, enhanced lighting, stunning fireworks, and for the first time ever, immersive projection effects that extend from Cinderella Castle down Main Street, USA. Now, this has been done before in Disney parks. This is not a new thing, but it is a kind of a newer thing at Magic Kingdom. So this is going to be really neat. Like, I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like. It'll give you more of an immersive feel when it comes to those nighttime spectacular experiences. And some of the first comments that I saw when we're talking about these nighttime spectaculars are, well, what about Happily Ever After? Is that going to come back? Well, we know that this magical celebration is slated only to last 18 months. So, some people have speculated, including myself, that this particular Disney Enchantment nighttime spectacular will only last those 18 months. Could Wishes come back at the end of that? Sure. I don't know. Why not? It would be awesome to see Wishes brought back. Could Happily Ever After be brought back? Sure. Maybe. I don't know. Disney Imagineers are constantly creating, constantly thinking forward, not just like 6 months or so in advance, but they're constantly thinking forward years in advance. So these nighttime spectaculars weren't created overnight. They were constantly worked on, tweaked, planned. There's a lot that goes into it. So, we'll see. I would love to see one of the nighttime spectaculars brought back. That would be really cool. I'm kind of dreaming over here, but I think in Disney Enchantment, we will most likely, hopefully, see some nods to some of the former nighttime spectaculars and celebrations that have happened. So that's just kind of something that I would like to see. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but hopefully it will. Joining Disney Enchantment on October the 1st will be Harmonious. We've heard all about this show, seen the large barges on World Showcase Lagoon. Harmonious at Epcot, one of the largest nighttime spectaculars ever created for a Disney park. This new show will bring the globe together at World Showcase Lagoon in a celebration of Disney music that inspires people worldwide. It is a grand, powerful tribute to the stories and songs that unite us, embracing new technical magic that incorporates pyrotechnics, choreographed moving fountains, lighting, and media in new ways. Harmonious will invite you to travel the globe through new interpretations of classic Disney songs as you've never heard them before. Reimagined in more than a dozen languages by a diverse group of 240 artists from around the world. That is amazing. Like, I love that. So they're not just like, okay, we're going to throw some fireworks up there, some projections, some cool effects, but they're intentional. Right? They're bringing together musicians and artists of different kinds from around the world to create this, because they want it not just to kind of, represent the countries that are there and kind of be fun and thematic. Like, they want it to be that, but they want it to be intentionally formed and sound good and authentic. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't heard the soundtrack. I don't know that a lot of people have, outside of those that are privy to that kind of information. But it'll be really neat. So, in being that both of those are debuting on October the 1st, there's probably an intentional reason behind that. I mean, yes, it's kind of a 50th anniversary thing, but it's going to help hopefully draw some of the crowds out between both. Last time I looked, park passes reservations were sold out for both. At one point, they were kind of brought back a couple of different times for Magic Kingdom and for Epcot. Kind of over the past few weeks, there have been sort of moments where they've released sort of new waves of those. So, be on the lookout. It's possible. I would say we've got, it's June the 22nd, as I said earlier. So we've still got a few months until that happens. So October the 1st will be here before we know it, and I can't wait to be there. I'll probably be there seeing the Disney Enchantment show, and I'm very, very, very excited about that. So I'm going to pause real quick and kind of see... I'm going to pause real quick and kind of go back to our question of the day. What is your favorite Disney character quote? So what is your favorite Disney character quote? Let's check out and see who's in the comments here today. Vance Cope, ain't no need to watch where I'm going. I just need to know where I've been. That's a good one, Vance. Love it. Oh, Dave. You're so funny. He just has to drop in. I thought he was doing a live podcast. His may be over. He might be dropping into mine. I'm not really sure. Wrestling. Did I see something about wrestling? No, Dave, you did not see something about wrestling. I'm sorry. This is the wrong podcast. Animal Kingdom, 100%. Yeah. He's probably commenting about the kind of topic for the day, talking about which Disney park can you do in half a day. I would argue that you can make that park a full day easily if you wanted to. Vance says Disney Studios in Paris, what a boring park at least a few years ago. Hopefully all the recent improvements have made it better. So Disneyland Paris had a bunch of downtime during the pandemic, and they recently reopened. And now for the first time, we have all the Disney parks around the world that are reopened since the pandemic at the same time. So that's pretty cool. And Disneyland Paris certainly had some time to work on a few things around property. So I'm hoping that has been the case, that they've been able to fix a few things, and hopefully the experience will be a lot better for the guests and the cast members that are there. So we'll be hearing more about that soon, I hope, as more folks visit and we get reports back from that. There's also new daytime entertainment stirring at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. Check out this artist rendering. So there's an artist rendering online on the Disney Parks blog. It looks kind of cool. And this is the entertainment show is called Disney Kite Tales. Disney Kite Tales. So if you remember from Epcot Forever, there used to be these jet skis that rode around World Showcase Lagoon. And those jet skis, unfortunately, due to these large Harmonious barges, will not be there. It's kind of a bit of a hazard for them to ride around at night. So we don't expect to see the jet skis for the kind of re-showing of Epcot Forever when it comes back in the parks. So my guess, those are going to be the same jet skis that were used at Epcot, the ones that are going to be on Animal Kingdom now. So they're going to be pulling these things around the Discovery River Amphitheater, formerly where Rivers of Light was shown. This will also start October the 1st. Performers will fly wind catchers and kites of all shapes and sizes while out on the water. Elaborate three-dimensional kites, some stretching out to 30 feet long. They will depict Disney animal friends, including Simba, Zazu, Baloo, and King Louie. These colorful creations will dance through the sky to the beat of the favorite Disney songs in an uplifting, vibrant experience for the whole family. So that sounds kind of neat, right? It's kind of a heartwarming experience. It's not big, wow, nighttime spectacular, but it'll probably be something kind of fun to see and experience. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse will be your hosts for the world's most magical celebration, and they'll be decked out in sparkling new iridescent fashions for the 50th anniversary. As you can see, there's a photo, if you go to Disney Parks blog and check it out, where you can see the best pals kind of hanging out with Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, and Chip and Dale and Daisy. They'll all be there in their own custom-made iridescent looks beginning October the 1st. It'll be cool to see some of those out. You'll get a chance to see them when they travel through the Magic Kingdom Park several times daily in the new Mickey Celebration Cavalcade. So we'll see another cavalcade. That is one of the things personally that I think out of the pandemic that I like. There are some folks that really want to see the Festival of the Fantasy Parade, just for instance, come back because we love those full long experiences. But the benefit of, we've talked about this before, but the benefit of the cavalcades versus a full-on parade. So cavalcades are periodically throughout the day. You're not having to waste time, sitting down, guarding your space for that 3 o'clock parade or that nighttime parade that you're going to see. And there's more of a likelihood that you're going to catch a glimpse or a picture of the characters that you want, because they'll come by more than one time throughout the day, and there can be multiple spots throughout the parks. And sometimes, the experience seeing these cavalcades over in Frontierland versus Main Street USA are different. So, they might be doing a different thing. There might be a different song going. They might be closer to you. They might be, so the experience is a little bit different every time they come around for the cavalcade. So that's kind of cool. From Disney Parks, starting today through August 1st, 2021, you can nominate, and this is actually really cool. So this is not sponsored. This is not like a Travelmation thing. This is not a me thing as a Disney travel planner. This is a Disney Parks thing. So I want to be very specific about that. Starting today through October 1st, 2021, you can nominate any person who inspires you for the Disney Magic Makers contest by visiting DisneyMagicMakers.com and sharing the positive impact that they have made. So one of the things that I've loved to see, and this was inspired by what I'm about to say, are the things that have kind of happened, especially throughout the pandemic, where neighbors are doing great things for neighbors, where people are just, being good humans to each other and being kind and compassionate and serving each other and making a difference in the lives of other people and kind of bringing magic alive, so to speak. So lots of people have been having a positive impact on each other. There are a bunch of different ways that you can nominate folks. You can go to that website that I said, DisneyMagicMakers.com. You can also share their amazing stories with a public post using hashtag DisneyMagicMakers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok. Again, hashtag DisneyMagicMakers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok. 50 nominees whose inspirational acts of kindness, compassion, and creativity best exemplify the values of a Disney Magic Maker will win a trip to Walt Disney World to join the world's most magical celebration during the 50th anniversary and a 1-year subscription to Disney+. Again, this is not sponsored by me or Travelmation. I just thought this was something really cool that Disney Parks was doing, and I just wanted to mention that briefly for anybody that might be interested. So there you go. All right, so let's get back from our Disney Parks news. We're going to pop this up here real quick. We'll leave that up here in just a minute. Which Disney park could you do in half a day? Again, which Disney park could you do in half a day? So everybody has their own kind of opinions and thoughts about this, but again, going back to this episode that we did a couple of years ago, is there such a thing as a half day at a Disney park? Sure, yeah, I think there is. But that's going to depend on who you are. That's going to depend on, what you do, what your travel goals are, who you're traveling with, if you're traveling with anybody. To sum it up, in and of itself, is there a half-day Disney park? Like, is Disney designing parks to be a half-day park? No, they're not. They want you to be there. They want you spending your money. They want you hanging out, having a good time, creating some memories. So there's that. So you have to define what a half-day at a Disney park is. First of all, what is that? Time-wise, well, what does that actually mean? So the park hours have been flexing a little bit recently. They've been lengthening in some cases as we've gotten into the summer, which is awesome to see. So, are you talking half day as in like exactly half the hours of the day that the park is open, or half day as in just like park open to like, noon or 1 o'clock. So you have to define that because, in the course of 3 or 4 hours, say 3 hours, you probably can't get done a whole lot. As the parks are getting busier and opening earlier, the ability to do more, and my friend Terry Weaver from WDW Today and the DVC podcast Top of the World posted this earlier today. So this is not purely an original thought, but I agree with him. He basically said that as the parks are transitioning, kind of opening, getting busier, those early park hours that you saw with a lot of the parks reopening early are starting to dissipate a little bit. I was aware that Epcot had started doing more of a traditional rope drop experience where they let guests into a certain point and hold you there, and then we'll kind of let you go about. Disney's Hollywood Studios apparently has started doing that as well. So if you've experienced that, I would love to hear what that was like for you. You also have to answer this question. Are you going solo or are you traveling in a group? Are there any mobility accommodations that may determine how much you can do in half a day? So, that's another thing. And that's something as a travel planner that I try to be sensitive to when we're making dining reservations, when we're figuring out, are they going to park up or they're not? What's the right type of ticket for them? What kind of experience are they looking for? Are there any things that they will need to make their trip a little bit easier once they get there? Because there are a lot of people from all different walks of life and capabilities that go to Disney World and want to have a magical time, and Disney does the best job they can to accommodate those needs. So when you're planning, if you're thinking about a half day, definitely think about that. Also, you want to strategize about dining and attractions and entertainment. There's a lot to do at Disney. There's a reason why people keep coming back. There's a reason why Disney keeps on innovating and releasing new things, releasing new experiences. So, each park has its own quick service and table service and character dining experiences. They have their own attractions, some that are designed for thrills, some that are designed just to kind of entertain and put a smile on your face. Each park has its own versions and showings of different live entertainment options that are out there. So whether you want to watch the Dapper Dans on Main Street USA, or you want to pop over to Animal Kingdom and see a celebration of the Festival of the Lion King, each one of those live entertainment options, some of them don't last that long, some of them do last a little bit longer. So you've got to weigh those things time-wise. You have to be intentional if you are planning a half-day park. Don't just expect to go in and be like, okay, what do you want to do? Unless now, I think about folks that are Disney annual pass holders and those that have been there multiple times. Like if you haven't gone for a while, or you're going for your first time, or you've got some people that are going there for your first time, don't just wing it. Have an intentional plan. Still be flexible. Like I always say, plan well and be flexible when it comes down to it. So, because weather sometimes can shut down certain attractions if they're outdoors, and you never know what's going to happen. So plan well, be realistic, but also be flexible. So lots of dining, attraction, entertainment options that are out there. So let's kind of take a look park by park real quickly, and I would love to hear from you. If there's anything that you would have to say, like your must do at any of these parks that we're talking about, I would love to hear what you have to say. So let's talk about Magic Kingdom. Half day at Magic Kingdom. This is probably going to be the most challenging one because there's a lot to do in Magic Kingdom, especially for the young ones. So back in New Fantasyland, back in even over Adventureland, Frontierland, there's lots of great things to do for the little ones, lots of great quick service dining options, shopping, all the things that are out there. Lots of great iconic experiences that people talk about all the time. And if you're going to do a half day there, you're going to have to figure out a way to dial it back. Now, if you're just talking like park hours, half day, sometimes the parks are open 10, 11, sometimes 12 hours or more. They've done even 24-hour days in these parks before. It's been a while, quite some time since that's been done. So it is possible to do Magic Kingdom in half the day, but you're going to have to be strategic about it. You're not going to be able to do all the big rides. You're not going to be able to see all the live entertainment options. Normally, even if you do a full day, you probably won't be able to do that. You also have to think about the time of year that you are going. Are you going in the peak summer travel season? Are you going in the peak kind of winter holiday season, or over spring break or fall break when lots of folks like to travel? Or, are you going, say, early May, right before school gets out? It's not too hot yet. Are you going, say, late late summer to early fall, when maybe some schools have started back. So things to think about when you're visiting and having these experiences. If I was doing a half day at Magic Kingdom, I would definitely try to rope drop and head straight to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That would be the first thing, because especially if you're going for the first time, that's an attraction that you want to do. There's lots of other iconic attractions like It's a Small World and Space Mountain and Jungle Cruise. Would definitely try to fit those in there if I can. Those would probably be my next ones, as well as Haunted Mansion. So there are some things that take a little bit longer to experience as well. So you want to kind of think about those. Of course, you want to gauge wait times. The My Disney Experience app is a great mobile source to be able to check those wait times out and kind of figure out what you want to do and when. You can kind of gauge what the flow is of the day. Sometimes when the weather's bad, that will help keep some of the crowds down. Again, that may determine which attractions are open, especially the outdoor ones like I mentioned. So, just be aware of that. There's some pros to that and there's some cons to it. So, Magic Kingdom, it's possible to do it. It's probably going to be the most challenging one, but it is possible. Let's talk about Epcot. So Epcot does not have a massive amount of attractions, comparatively speaking, like Magic Kingdom does. It does have Chess Track, has Soarin', has Mission Space, Frozen Ever After, and several of the other rides in some of the different pavilions over in the land, in Mexico, and the seas. So lots of different things to do there. But, again, some of these, the wait times are almost walk-on. Like a lot of times the boat ride in the land, you can almost just walk straight on it many times if you hit it right. Some of them, like Soarin' and Test Track, will always have some sort of wait. So you have to gauge that. Sometimes it's better to do a half a day later in the day than beginning of the day. So for instance, if you're coming in, you're flying in and you're not getting there till, I don't know, right before lunch or around lunchtime or so, go in, get settled at your hotel, your accommodations, and hit up one of the parks in the later part of the day and just kind of take it easy, right? Gauge the crowd levels and things and just have a good time. Just sort of go at it. Like that's for me is a time when it's okay to wing it. Like have a plan. Don't be so structured that you can't be a little bit flexible, but know what you want to do, know what you want to accomplish. You can go in there and have a half day when you get there and just kind of hang out. Some folks like to, kind of acclimate to the Disneyverse when they get there. So some folks like to jump straight on in. Sometimes I do. Like if I'm going by myself on a solo trip, many times I'm headed straight to the parks when I get there. So we talked about Epcot, Magic Kingdom, also Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now Disney's Hollywood Studios has more to offer than it used to, especially with Toy Story Land and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So if you are going to go to this park, I would recommend doing it in the first part of the day. So Disney's Hollywood Studios in the morning, you're going to have more of a likelihood. Actually, you will have the only way for you to get a boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance is if you go to this park in the morning. So it's a very good point to kind of think about. Also be aware that transportation to Disney's Hollywood Studios in the morning coming via Skyliner can get a little bit backed up. So it's great. It's super flexible, which I like. If you're going in later in the day or you're planning on spending a whole day there, plan on going in a little bit after the park opens, and you'll still have a great opportunity to get in and do and experience a lot. But make sure you get up early and book those book your boarding group reservations, not your park passes. Hopefully you already have those if it's your first park of the day. So Disney's Hollywood Studios, again, has a great to offer, lot to offer with attractions and the live entertainment options, which it is one of the parks that was kind of hit hardest by the live entertainment because it was found, like that was one of the key pillars that this park was founded on. Streetmosphere, the Indiana Jones epic stunt show, spectacular. Among them, the Beauty and the Beast live on stage, fantastic. Let's see what else we have. So some of the different parades that they had back in the day as well. So there are lots of different things kind of around the park to do as far as live entertainment goes. Those things are kind of slowly starting to trickle back in, more so with the other parks than at the studios for right now. But hopefully we'll see more back soon. So dining-wise, there are some great things to experience, like the new menu at ABC Commissary, 50s prime time is always a classic dining experience for me that I love to do if I can, if at all possible. So lots of great things. Got to go back to Ronto Roasters and get your Ronto wrap there as well. So you can grab some quick bites when you're planning a half-day trip. That's definitely something you want to consider doing. I would completely put table service meals like aside. So we're talking like maximizing your experience. If you want a laid back experience, you only want to do a couple of attractions, book that table service meal. Do it. Enjoy it. The food will be good. The service will be great, and you'll have an awesome time. And go and just spend those relaxing moments there. So lots of different ways to do this. And again, as we're talking about this, you have to gauge, what your travel goals are within the half day. Are you trying to get in as much as you can in a small amount of time, or are you just kind of chilling and hanging out and having a good time and just sort of people watching, as it were? So lots of different things to think about and to do over at Disney's Hollywood Studios and kind of along the way here. Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. So earlier Dave mentioned, we'll put this back up here in just a second. So Dave mentioned Animal Kingdom 100%. So I think this is a definite possibility. This is probably the more realistic, I think, option for, say, generally speaking, all folks that might be looking to do a half-day park at Disney. And I think that's because of the number of the attractions that are there when they open, taking into account the park hours. Typically, Animal Kingdom Park closes earlier than most of them, and in some cases can open a little bit earlier too. So, you will get a different experience in the morning than you get at night. So that's something to consider. You don't have to worry about boarding groups or virtual queues right now at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park either. They do have some live entertainment options that they have brought back. Celebration Festival of the Lion King, for instance. They're bringing the new kind of, what is it called? I have to go back in my notes here. The new Disney Kite Tales back in October 1st. So looking forward to seeing that. So they also have some thrill attractions like Expedition Everest and Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is amazing and breathtaking. And that is just, people ask me about that ride. If you've never done it, it puts a smile on your face. Y'all, you will love it. If you've never done that attraction, it is a must do, a must see. Even after having, done that attraction a few times, I still, it just puts a smile on your face, and not like a like scary smile, but like a genuine, like, wow, that was really cool. So definitely do that. You want to prioritize your attractions. If I had to pick three, I would say Flight of Passage, Expedition Everest. Would probably skip Navi River Journey. It's very short, and a lot of times the wait times are pretty long. And I would probably do Flight of Passage, Expedition Everest, and the Kilimanjaro Safari. The great thing about the safari is that you get a different experience pretty much every time you go. You never know what animals are going to be out coming close. They feed different animals kind of different times of the day in different ways. Sometimes the animals have babies and they'll kind of, let them out and run around the savannah a little bit. You never know what you're going to see or what they're going to be doing, what they're going to be up to. Some animals are more active in the morning. Some are more active later on in the day. So that's one of the reasons why I would include that there. I would definitely take a stop for a meal at Satuli Canteen. It is my favorite quick service on property for theming and quality of food. The food is fresh. It is delicious. It is well seasoned. It is not over seasoned or under seasoned. It is just right. They have a lot of very healthy options as well. If you have different food allergies like I do that you deal with, they're super great about that. And it's a great place to go and visit and hang out. Of course, do your mobile ordering there. So that's one of the pluses to it as well. And that mobile ordering, if you're doing a half-day visit, will save you time as well. So mobile ordering at Disney is great. It's super flexible. And if you've never used it, I would definitely check it out. I want to talk about one other thing. So we've kind of covered half days at each park, but there's one other thing, kind of a bullet point that I want to add to this discussion, and that is after hours parties. So the biggest, latest, greatest after hours party that we've talked about is Boo Bash, the kind of Halloween after hours event that goes for about 3 hours at night from about around 9 to midnight local time. That will be starting in August. There are several dates that are already sold out, but Disney recently did add a few more back, which is awesome. So, interested in Boo Bash stuff, we can talk about that later. Please let me know. But the Boo Bash Bash celebration. It's going to be a great opportunity to get a lot of attractions in a short amount of time. Being that some of those dates have sold out, that means that Disney is intentionally limiting the capacity of those events. There will be, some kind of free food offerings in that. There will be some special parade and not attractions, but entertainment options that you will see. So it'll be a fun experience. And traditionally, the after-hours events, one of the biggest perks for them has been the low wait times. Now, you're probably saying, well, wait a minute. What about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party? And what about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parties? Those two events, kind of by definition, are not really after-hours events, because many times the parks would close early, significantly early, and all park guests that did not have a ticket to those events would have to go in and do... they would have to leave, basically. So to go to those events, you would have to have a regular park ticket and a separate a separate ticket to the Very Merry Christmas Party or Mickey's, or the Boo Bash over at Magic Kingdom. So or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Sorry, I got those two things confused. For Boo Bash, though, it is a separate ticketed event. These after-hours events are a kind of a hard ticketed event, meaning you don't have to have an extra ticket on top of that. So that's one thing to consider and to think about. And the wait times are going to be lower. So after-hours events have a lot of perks to them. The food, the parties, the people, the low wait times, the specially themed kind of attractions sometimes. So sometimes they'll do some cool things with that, and even the ambiance of it as well. So in closing, I want to say this. In closing, it's not impossible. It's not impossible to do a half day at Disney. It can be done. But you will have to be intentional about your visit and somewhat flexible. Be intentional. Be realistic. If you're traveling with other people that are doing a half day, make sure you loop them in and talk to them. Great spots to do half days at Disney, or again, we mentioned this earlier at the beginning, kind of hitting the ground running, or maybe towards the end of your trip. If you maybe you got a later flight in the day, but you want to get some park time in before you head to the airport, you can go in and spend a few hours and do that. Or maybe it's the middle of the week. If you've got a longer trip and you want to do just a half day, maybe a great dinner reservation over at Disney Springs or at one of the resort hotels, do that. Make sure, especially, I haven't said this in a while, if you are going for, I would say at least for 5 days or longer, build in a rest day in the middle. That will make the world of difference in your experience. Maybe one of those rest days could be a half day at a Disney park. Typically speaking, once you get to 5 days of park tickets or more, the price per day drops dramatically. So keep that in mind. So if you're like, well, I'm budget conscious, I'm already going for 5 days or 4 days, 5 days, I don't know if I want to add any more on that. The price differential between a 5 day versus a 6 day ticket, especially individually, is not that much. So they do get significantly cheaper as you add more days to them. So it's something to keep in mind as you're doing these half-day experiences. So lots of different ways you could spend a half-day trip. And I would suggest for you to thinking about that. Think about doing a half-day at Disney and seeing how it works out. But again, be intentional, plan well, and have a good time while you're doing it. So I hope this information for you is helpful tonight. Sorry about the kind of talking over myself here a couple of times and getting the graphics all sorted out here, the titles that we were dropping in there for you, but I think we got that sorted out. But hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know. Let me know what you think of a half day should look like. If you've done one, what it was like for you. Did you have a good time? Was it too stressful? Do you have any special memories from it? Any pro tips that you would offer? So feel free to email me or just drop those down here in the comments. My email is johnrogers@travelmation.net. If you have any questions about travel planning, as always, my travel planning services come at no additional cost to you. So you could do all the legwork yourself and pay the same amount as you would having somebody help you and do a lot of the work for you, saving you time and hassle and potentially money, because we keep an eye out for a lot of discounts that sometimes we can apply after the fact. If you have questions about travel planning, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Travel Tips Tuesday. We do hope to see you again very, very soon, and we hope you have a magical rest of your day. Bye-bye.